Hi.
Hello.
I am Janet Lee. I am jealous that you have this community because I do not live in the Pacific Northwest. I live in Tennessee. Don't hold it against me. We're much more purple than you think we are. And
I,
Nashville is very much not.
I have a friend who works in the Barnes and Noble there, and she complains, but at the same time is
Yeah. Yeah. I
Well,
will
you
say
have this
just
community now.
our big thing was we just repainted we were one of the last 25 lesbian bars in Nashville. I was in the book industry, but the business end of it, and started doing art for fun. Um, and then kind of magically, a friend of mine who was working for Marvel um, wrote a book about some pieces of artwork I did, and it sort of launched my career. So, um, yeah, I do not have any training. I have a degree in English and creative writing. I just make this up as I go along, and you will probably be able to see that from my stuff. But this is kind of a walk through my career because I started in about 2010, and I've been doing this for about 15 years now. So I don't know. Do we want to can I share screen? Yes, I can share screen.
Yes.
good.
Let me see if I've got something
All set?
here. Yep, looks good. All right, so I'm going to close out the stuff that you don't need to see and you don't want to see.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. I'm sending you a request, Bill.
Okay, good. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
when you said
We're doing this as we
when you
go.
said you had permission, it confused me. Wait a minute, I just opened the room. How did I give her permission? Okay, you're good.
Perfect. All right. So I don't know how well this is going to work. I just kind of threw this together, but I watched a whole bunch of your other sessions, so hopefully it's working okay. All right, so I am sharing screen. So can you guys see that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the book that started it all. It's called Return of the Dapper Men. I have no idea how we got contracted for it, but with me having zero illustration experience, Jim having just written plays and never written any graphic novels or comics, he managed to pitch it to Boom on the floor of San Diego Comic-Con with just some pieces I had done for gallery shows, and they said we want it, let's do it exactly the way you did. So this is how I ended up making probably the world's only decoupage comic book. The entire thing was done in decoupage. So this that you're looking at is we'll give you a quick rundown of the story. It's a surrealist fairy tale. It's a world where time has stopped and nothing has changed, and until suddenly 314 dapper men descend from the sky to restart time. So this is the picture of 314 dapper men descending from the sky. The piece is actually about 4 feet wide and 2 feet high, because I didn't know any better how to do a splash, or to do a spread. So, and I hand cut every single piece of these out.
Whoa.
But it really found its feet quickly. We had people cosplaying us almost immediately. At the time it was a record, we were nominated for 5 Eisners. I was up against stuff like Black Sad for the art, and Raina Telgemeier for children's graphic, and we ended up tying with Wilson for the best graphic novel that year. So I won an Eisner for the book, and it sort of launched my career.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. So I thought I would show
Yeah,
you guys
wow.
some of the process of it, because, and I've got some pages I can pull up if you want to see them later, but I basically built all of these on pieces of wood. And I would cut out different layers. It's like poor man's Photoshop, glue them down in different layers, and then take the entire thing to a drum scanner and got it scanned.
Wow.
I love it because I love doing things this way because there's a texture I'm able to put in. You'll notice sometimes there's like old pages of books behind it that I would paint over. Sometimes I use the wood itself. sometimes I got crazy for years afterwards. My spouse would tell me whenever he really wanted to tweak me, he would say, "You need some more gears," because I would cut tiny, tiny gears out and put them in everything. So all of those gears were kind of one-offs. And they did talk me down from lettering. I thought I was going to letter, but thank goodness we had a good letter because I kept trying to do crazy things with page layouts. I decided one page was going to be like the face of a clock, and only a good letterer saved me and made that readable to anyone. So kiss your letterers. They're great people. They deserve everything. But yeah, I really enjoy working this way.
Mm.
It's sort of, to me, like making soup, if that makes sense, instead of baking, because I can kind of move things around and play with layout until the last minute. If something doesn't work, I can glue something else back down. Um, and I haven't gotten to do it as much as I wanted to, but I have plans. We'll talk about that later.
Cool.
Once Return of the Dapper Men took off, and we even had like a little high school in Kentucky wrote a play, performed it based on it. It was kind of a crazy situation.
Oh.
I ended up meeting a bunch of editors at San Diego that year, and one of them was the editor for Marvel's Jane Austen novels. And of course, my degree in British literature, she's my favorite author. So I wrote the geekiest email known to man to an editor and said, I'm sure you've got somebody on tap already, but please, 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 could I do could you consider me if you have an opening? And they did. They were going to do Emma next. So the next book I did was Emma. Again, I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm sure you guys are all familiar, but out of, monthly comics are broken up into many, many pieces. Nobody does a whole lot of things. There's usually a editor, writer, penciler, inker, colorist, letterer, cover artist. I decided I was going to do everything except lettering, editing, and writing. I did all of it myself on 20 pages a day by hand because I still don't do anything digitally. So everything is being done by hand. I still did the covers. This is one of the covers for it. I did in decoupage, hand wrote out lines from the book and put it behind it and things like that. And these are before coloring, but I colored them. And then after it was done and my hands were blistered, they called me and said, "We're going to do Northanger Abbey. Can you start immediately?" Unfortunately, I was on vacation when they called, and I said, "Okay, I only want to pencil and ink. You guys can get somebody to do the coloring and the covers." And that's how Northanger Abbey happened. I will say that, again, we're going to talk about how things really sort of jumped for me at this point, because I was doing very simple shapes before this. And once I sort of gave up that I was going to be coloring it as well, I leaned into a lot of line work. So this was where I sort of leaned into my love of classic children's literature and really, really leaned into line work and a lot more a lot more complex page layouts and things like that. Once I was done with it, because it didn't sell, Northanger Abbey surprisingly didn't sell as well as Emma and Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. Wow. So they discontinued the line. And I still did some anthologies for Marvel and things like that. But I moved on. I moved back to Jim, who was my writer for Return of the Dapper Men. And our sophomore effort was a series for Image Comics called Lost Vegas. Casino heist in outer space, so sort of Star Wars and Ocean's 11 have a baby, and
Hmm.
that's what it was. In this one, I also decided that I was going to do covers and I was going to do line work, but I was not going to color it. So we asked Chris Sotomayor, who is amazing, to do the coloring for it. And I sort of learned through the process that what the team does, right? So I had been doing so much by myself before. In this circumstance, Chris kept coming back with, I'll pull it up later, but there was one in particular where it was a spread of the entire casino floor,
Hmm.
and there were people throughout it that had different. They were one of the conceits of the thing is that they're kidnapping people to work in this casino. They're sort of working off their they get well here they if they get in trouble with the law, they get sent to this casino where they have to work off their debt. And they in order to dehumanize, haha, all the aliens, everybody has a collar that makes them look exactly the same. So I had to go through this entire giant page of very tiny details for Chris Sotomayor and circle all the figures that were the same so that he would know which ones to color what way. And then he came back. I was expecting something that was sort of Venetian colored, and he gave me cotton candy space. It was amazing. It was much better than anything I could have come up with on my own. But I'm also, again, leaning much more into detail, much more into line work than I had before. And yeah, this was sort of the last of the monthlies that I've done for a while. After that, I did a number of anthologies, but my next big books have been two reimaginings of Frank Baum's non-Wizard of Oz books.
Oh,
I did them. Amy Chu is the writer, and she sort of refashioned it. So now it's a tale about a single immigrant mother and a grandfather who has dementia. In the original book, there's a little girl named Trot who hangs out with a very old sailor, and they're best friends, and they end up in a lot of the Wizard of Oz books. But Amy sort of split that character between a cat who was named Captain Bill and had all the sardonic voice of the original sailor, and her grandpa who has mild dementia. And so they still have the intergenerational friendship in a modern day without it being creepy. I really wanted to do this entire book in decoupage as well, but I just did not end up with enough time to do it. So it was sort of a combination between pages like the page on the right that is done by hand and in physically, but not in decoupage. And then the one on the left where it's all decoupage. And I have that one back behind me as well, so we can look at that a little more closely. And I sort of carried that through to the next one, but I got to draw kids surfing and a giant robotic kraken that the mermaids are operating because one of them's been kidnapped and they have to find her for book two. Book two is also my my unicorn of a cover. Usually, this came out from Viking Children's. It was a New York press, and usually I have to go through a couple of rounds, two or even three rounds, to get the cover right. And I gave them a placeholder for their marketing team, and they liked it so much that was the one we went for. So it will never happen again. This cover is my white whale. After that, I decided I wanted to try writing as well. I have a degree in creative writing. Why not give it a go? During the height of COVID, there was an anthology, a COVID anthology from Graphics Mundi, I think, that I was asked to be part of. I'm in Nashville, and about 10 days the um, before COVID lockdown happened, a giant tornado tore through the city and through my neighborhood in particular. And we were all out helping each other, trying to move branches and get power back for people and get people
Mm.
food. And then we found out, and and it ended up being a giant COVID event, honestly, because we were all just out. So I decided to write about that. And the
Mm.
story in that anthology is the first one that was completely done by me. So this is my first writing as well as illustrating.
Mm.
um, so that brings me to today and the book I've been working on for years at this point. Because if you haven't really written anything big since college, you should 100% sign a contract saying that you're going to do a 240-page graphic novel as your first book that you're doing. So uh,
Lord.
I have been working, and it took me forever to figure out sort of how this worked for me, because the when I'm drawing, a lot of times I don't know if everybody else has this problem, but my a lot of my language centers shut off, so I'm able to listen to audiobooks or listen to music or watch a TV show, whatever, have it playing in the background, and these keep me in my seat long enough to get things done. That does not work for me when I'm writing. And it took me way, way, way too long to figure out how I was going to do this, how I was going to both thumbnail and write the script at the same time, even though that ended up working out better for me. The way I ended up doing it was going back to zines, which I also had not done since college. So I started making zines again, and they are so much fun. I absolutely love them. This one, this one, Gifts, is the first one that I did. I've done several since then, but I like to garden and I like to feed the crows in the neighborhood, and it's a story, just sort of amusing, about how I give gifts to the crows, and the crows and the squirrels give the gifts back to me.
Mhm.
So now we're to the book I'm working on right now. And I'm going way too fast. I thought this was a long presentation, but I'm a very fast talker, so we'll go back and look at things. But
We are following and we are enjoying.
oh, good.
Let me
Okay.
guarantee you, we are loving this.
So the book I'm working on right now is tentatively, fully, it's not even fully named yet. I think the name is going to be Just Perfect. It is a pretty standard middle grade fare. It's now coming out from FSG. I was part of the Roaring Brook closure, and my editor moved over, and the book moved with my editor. Thank goodness. So we're still on, but it's now coming out from FSG. I think it's going to be 2028. I don't think it's going to be the end of 2027 at this point. But these are just some opening pages for it. I am writing this as well as illustrating it. The hook for this one is it's about a little girl with a wonky hand, like my wonky hand. So the hand that I use to write and draw and everything else is, I'll stop sharing so you guys can actually see it, and then I'll go back. But I've got a wacky hand, malformed hand. Thumb is normal, able to do everything. I'll never be a concert pianist. And when I decided to take up guitar, I have to only use a pick. But you know, I can still do it. So we're sort of putting that into. Let's go back to. So that's what the book is about. So it's a little slice of life, everything that happened. It's not a memoir because I really, really didn't want to go and have to get permissions from all the kids I went to school with. But a lot of the stuff that happens in it actually happened to me. My mom was always terrified when I was playing basketball that I was going to break a finger and have to go to a expensive or orthopedic doctor for it. Um, and I was constantly trying to hide my hand. But one of the big moment in the book is that the kid that I had a huge crush on was playing opposite me in a play, and he thought I was punking him or something, and he suddenly um, on stage asked why I was doing wacky things with my hand. So it has a lot of real stories in it, but the characters are not necessarily fully real. Because it's taken so long, I also keep having ideas about subsequent books. So as you do. So in my free time, I'm kind of playing with a book I'm calling I Dare. That's kind of an Appalachian Pan's Labyrinth. Um,
Wow.
Slight. Oh, I forgot to say the other thing about these two. I was working. I've been doing everything digitally on a Cintiq for the first time for Just Perfect, and because I'm on there anyways, I decided to do I Dare, and digitally as well, which is weird for me. So this is a big change for me. This is a huge switch. This is the first time I've done anything like it. So here's the first pages of it. I do kind of like to play with color changes as things happen. But yeah, so that kind of brings me to the end of my presentation.
Wow.
But I have a lot more. I have a ton more images. I have a whole file pulled. If you guys would like to see more
Sure.
stuff,
Sure.
I just was not sure what we wanted to do, and I didn't. I thought I would be slower than this, but clearly I am not. So,
Well, you're a very good public speaker. You're quick, you're clear, and this is highly interesting. I love your crows.
oh, thank you. They're super fun.
Mhm.
I love drawing crows. All right, here we go. So, actually, let me stop sharing and get us to.
Oh, Bill, real quick, have you got the link for the share art up yet?
I'm in the middle of it. Sorry.
Okay, great. Thanks. There, got a little bit of administrative.
Yeah, darn.
All right. So, what do you guys want to see? Because I don't just do, I also do some fun artwork stuff on the side. I didn't touch on any of the watercolor stuff I've been doing.
Oh,
I know
I
Bill
do
wants to see the
watercolor.
watercolors.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
definitely.
We'll do watercolor.
Yep.
All right. So, I can start with. So,
Oh.
this is a cover I did for a Ruth Bader Ginsburg comic. It was a store exclusive, and it sort of started me doing a whole series of women in words, so I can kind of appreciate them, and instead of all the terrible things that are happening in the world right now. Let's see, what else do you have? I sometimes just do like little sketches. Can you guys see that? Are they pulling up as I get them, or is it just still on?
Ruth.
It's still on Ruth?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay,
Done.
then I am going to. I'm not doing this well. I'm gonna change it over. Let's stop the share, and let me just. You can see my messy desktop. Yeah, I'm just going to share the whole desktop. Okay, so it's messy. I apologize. So I sometimes like to just do classic stuff for fun. In fact, if you look at my Instagram, and I'll post the link here in a little bit, it's almost all me just doing these extra things. So this was Narnia, Mr. Tutmos and Lucy.
Ah,
Again, with the crows, I did a Morrigan I'm all over the place, guys.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's not
Wow.
anything particular. We hate him now, but I love drawing his stuff so much. From Sandman, Morpheus.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm. Wow.
Nice.
And Delirium while we're at it, because she is the most fun to do in watercolor.
Oh,
Really?
very nice.
Hmm.
Most fun.
So,
Lovely.
so what's your, so just as far as the
Yeah.
miniature there, let's
Mm.
see, is that pen and colored pen and ink, obviously, but let's see, India ink, cold press, hard press, cold press, hot press.
Honestly, a lot of times I prefer cold press, but I mean, this one obviously is not. This one's got a lot more texture to it.
Mhm.
I tend to go for cold press just because it tends to be less expensive sometimes. But this is my weirdness. I strongly prefer to draw before putting any watercolor down. So I started in wet media only when I was doing the decoupage stuff. I could not have anything that would smear. So I tend to do a lot of microns and Faber and Castell for the pen work. And then I found a liquid watercolor that is much, much less opaque than the other. So a lot of times I will use that. When I'm on the road, I tend to use sample pages from the Daniel, what's his name? What are they? The little dot sample pages. That was very loud. Sorry about that. Little sample pages that you can get from the store, the Daniel Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll just use those. I took them with me. My art store talked me into buying them before a trip to Paris, and it got through customs like a dream. So now I just bring them with me to conventions and can sit behind the table. I tend to do very, very tiny watercolor paintings that I sell at the table. I'm talking like scrap watercolor paper that's left over. This is how I use it up. They're like maybe 3 inches tall tops. They're tiny, tiny, tiny ones. And I sit and work on those. So those tend to be in the stuff I work on at conventions. This was done almost exclusively with the the liquid watercolor. We have a festival in Nashville called Tomato Art Festival, so I tend to do a lot of artwork for tomato art. So that's one of them. That's a watercolor I did
Nice.
for them.
Oh, wow.
One year I got really, I don't know why she has cherry tomatoes growing out of her. She just does. She just does because you get a little punchy after a few years. You don't know what they're going to be. But I have more, but those are the watercolors under etc. You want to see it? I've done some other weird things. At one point, Pottery Barn wanted super. I do a series of animals wearing hats or in odd outfits, and they wanted superheroes, but they wanted generic superheroes, and they wanted to sort of see how they would be used. So I mocked up a bunch of things like clothes with a monkey. I did a decoupage stool. I did a dresser.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
I mean, I know this is weird and off, but
No, it's wonderful.
I
Oh,
started
gosh.
out doing this weird stuff.
Honey, you have found your people. We are loving this.
It's
You say
not
you ain't got a
weird.
community, you got us here.
That's not weird up in this corner of the US.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You fit right in.
Yeah.
You'd love this.
Let's see what else. One of the first anthologies I did was Womanthology. That one also won an Eisner, but I tend to not count the anthology since it's really the editorial staff and their vision more than anything else. But Womanthology I did. This was very early on. This is the first one I ever did. Was a story about the shirtwaist factory fire.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So, and again, I'm sort of starting. We're kind of going back
Which was
back
bad.
with stuff. I did a. This one was all done in decoupage. I did one that was it was, what was it for?
Hmm.
Who published this? This was I still want to do this book at some point. Kid Jules Verne. Apparently Jules Verne as a
Huh.
kid really wanted to
Huh.
run off and sail away,
Well,
and had an uncle who lived in Braine, France. So he kept trying to run off to France and hop on a boat and get away. So we thought, what if he was a little like a young Sherlock Holmes inventor kind of kid and had a really annoying little brother and ran off. So we did a whole thing where he was looking for Yeti. Yeah, they had a Yeti co-pilot. And they were going to Shangri-La. And that was all done in decoupage.
Oh my God. Fabulous.
They were fun. I'll get to the last page. What's the last page was? Yeah, it's like a 10-page. Yeah. So happy birthday. We're in
Mm.
Shangri-La at this point.
Wonderful.
Kitchen Witch was another anthology I did that had a lot of it was all done in watercolor. This one was for it was one that Shelley Bond put together. The theme was houses. It was all rooms in a house, and our room was kitchen. Yeah, and I got to use we put in a recipe for buttermilk bread, and I got to highlight um, my really, really, really old. I think that's the same one. Really, yeah, never mind. My really old cookbook. Yeah, well, that was it actually. My really old Betty Crocker cookbook that's falling apart up in the corner. This one, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Amy Chu. She is
Mhm.
a writer who's done a bunch of stuff. I think at this point, right now, she's writing Camilla, that just won a whatever the horror at the horror the big horror convention. I'm sorry, you would think I would know this. My husband writes video games, so we used to go to all the other ones. But but the way she got started in comics, she had the greatest idea. She basically decided that she needed to show off her skills, and she was going to ask people to do small anthologies with her, but they were only 4-page stories, so everybody had time to do it. So I had never gotten to do science fiction at that point. I had never gotten to do blood or anything violent, which was very exciting for me because everybody just gave me everything else. And she gave me blood. So I got to do kind of I kind of got to do a Hal the computer, Hal robot space 2000.
Can I just interject something real here? You
Yes.
said that you love Jane Austen, and I, for my sins, have picked up the Jane Austen and zombie books, and I'm laughing my brains
Oh,
out over those, and they're hilarious.
they're
And
absolutely great cork books. Yeah, I was a
oh, they are Quick Press.
I
They,
was a
they
I was a
are,
book
and
buyer
the
when they
second.
came
Oh,
out.
and the second book of illustrations, the first book of illustrations. Somebody got a hold of an amateur. That's okay. He worked really
Yeah.
hard. Second book of illustrations are wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. They and I will say there was a sequel to Pride and Prejudice and Zombies called Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters, which makes no sense at all. They're in the Lake District. There's no sea monsters. Anyways, but that one is not as good. So I'll go ahead, and I enjoyed Pride and Prejudice and Zombies more than Sense and Sensibility and Sea
I
Monsters.
do recommend it, folks. It's hilarious. It's too funny.
And they also
Except
did
it,
they also did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. That was them as
Which is
well.
a wonderful movie, believe it or not.
Yeah, it really is. It really,
That's
really
a great
is.
movie. I'm
Um,
sorry.
that's all right. Speaking of zombies, I did get to do, where is it? I did I not put it in here? Ugh, dang it. I did get to do a couple. Marvel always has me do weird things. So I got to do Deadpool, but as a Shakespeare character. I got to do I got to do Rocket. I also
Richard
got
the
to
Third.
huh? It was
Richard the
Romeo and
Third.
Juliet, and if I could have gotten away with it, I would have had him play every single character in the balcony scene. He would have been the nurse. He would have been Juliet. He would have been himself. Could not. They did not want to do that, so I did not get a chance. Good grief.
Chicken-hearted.
Yeah, no, man, could have done it. But let's see. I don't know what else to show you.
Punch things. We'll see what
Oh
comes
well,
up.
the zines. I got some more. I also really, 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 really want to do a book about a scout, a Boy Scout or a scout, not necessarily a Boy Scout, a scout who is a werewolf who gets
Oh
picked
my
on by
God.
the other kids, um, because they want to pick they give him a bad map. They're going to pick on him, and uh, obviously you can't do that with a werewolf because they'll just smell their way to where they're going to go. But I have some ideas about it. So this is
Oh,
ends up making friends with a Sasquatch who's in the woods like you do. And then they go and they scare everybody at the campfire. Anyways, they're scared of each
the link for putting up your artwork for Best of the Northwest is working.
Oh, excellent. That's exciting. Oh yeah, there we go. Anyways, so that's one I want to do. And then at Christmas, I tend to do a little zine now because I enjoy them so much. So I did one about a couple who the cat distribution system had a really ha-ha evening and decided to leave them a Yule kitten.
Oh,
The giant cats
What?
of the Scandinavian North instead that actually eat you if you don't have the correct clothing on. So hopefully the kitten's going to be better about that. But, you know, so that was fun too. I don't know that that one needs to be one, but I think the werewolf wants to be a story. The other one, what else did I not? I'm very upset that I didn't put these up. Nope. I also have an idea for one that has flying possums, and it's really convoluted, but I feel like after Return of the Dapper Men,
actually,
I
that
can sell it. It'll be fine. It'll be
actually
great.
that
Figure
sounds
it
like
out.
that actually from an interesting coincidence. That sounds there's this. I stumbled over this wonderful piece of 18th, 19th century paleo art where they were sort of doing pterodactyls, and their very wrong drawing of a pterodactyl looked like a winged opossum. So
Oh, that's amazing.
It does, doesn't it?
look
It
it up.
does.
It's a
It looks
pretty
like a
well
winged
known book.
opossum. Well, the thing is now they know that they were fuzzy, so maybe they were right.
I mean, yes, they were basically, and now when I see like cranes fly overhead, I think they look like pterodactyls, honestly. They some sort of winged dinosaur.